Hello, everybody. My name is Jonas Kalinauskas, and today I'm going to host this week 13 call. I'm just reading a chat, and so nice to always to see where everybody is from. So this is truly worldwide challenge from everywhere in the world. And since we are on the different time zones, and I'm really glad that you are well aware of this time shifting period, because in Europe we already turn back time, and some places there's not. So I'm really glad that you are here. A couple of housekeeping rules. If you want to ask a question or share your win or just share your experience and have something to say, raise your electronic hands. For us, it will be much easier to recognize who would like to talk. Also, if you are driving, for example, so make sure the camera is off, and at least if you want to raise your hand and then talk, at least pull over until you're ready to talk safely. Also, we really ask you to put your cameras on. It's much nicer to see your faces and how you are talking, just not only names. Always also rename yourself so that we know who you are. It's much easier to communicate this way. So in this worldwide community, we will know each other better. So yeah, in general, it's week 13, and that's the last week. In some cases, you know, we all got some sort of amount of freedom, food freedom. Some of us are completely free and started maybe from week 2 or week 3, and somebody just getting to know their food freedom. All is fine. What I wanted to tell, you went through this really big journey, and the last week is when you are choosing your own season and you have your soul of life, when you are starting to do on your own. Even if you feel confident and have this freedom, know that your freedom is fresh and fragile and just new, you know, young freedom. And you know, it can fade away during the time. So always take it with really cautious, and because your journey is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of your journey. And what I really would like to encourage you, if you do not done that already, is to read the Living Wild Food guide ebook book. There is all the principles written down, so it's easier for you to put the dots in the right places. Also to consider your category which you are in, your food categories, your food constitution. So a little bit of homework done there, but I can assure you those homework are worth to do it, because when you are put it on the paper, write it down in electronic form, you commit it. You just have much more clarity on how to live and move forward. And I'm here to get all your questions, to your wins, and if something else is needed, I'm here to guide you. So I'm looking forward for your input. So who's first? Sherry, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Sherry up first. Oops.
Hello.
Hello, Sherry.
Oh,
Right.
she was already
Thank you.
unmuted.
Bad lighting. I wanted to ask, just based on what I have been hearing, I understand that intermittent fasting is okay with wild fit, and it seems to fit within the winter season. And I'm wondering, for someone who's adopting intermittent fasting, is it okay to mix it with like summer or spring or any of these other seasons, because it's kind of like an ongoing thing?
Yeah. Okay, thanks for question. So it's in general, intermittent fasting it's pretty much aligned with the wild fit principles. And as soon as you just always listen to your body and think, let's say, adapt how it feels. But intermittent fasting, it could be okay in all these reasons. Just you need to know how you can do it. For example, prolonged intermittent fasting is wild fit winter season. So if you decide to do that, or just a really easy foods on the digestion, no solid foods, that's part of the season. But it's okay to also to do it with the summer, let's say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Can I just, I'm going to jump in just and offer you a little bit of extra on that. You know, I'm a big fan of fasting. Actually, funny enough, I'm fasting today. And I'm a big fan of fasting. One thing that I think is really important to understand, though, is that what happens in the health world is that something comes along and it apparently is healthy. And so then it becomes a fad, and then it becomes dangerous. And so what you'll notice is that there's no active practice of intermittent fasting inside WildFit. And there's a few reasons why it's not included inside the WildFit Challenge, but that we can talk about it after the fact. So I'm not really a super big fan of intermittent fasting. I'm developing something that's called natural nutritional rhythms, which is basically trying to eat in timings that were more reflective of the way our ancestors ate, rather than using some willpowered starvation at night technique that intermittent fasting often creates for people, which I think might even, it might serve a purpose, but I'm not sure that they call it simulated fasting, and they're saying that ideally it can kind of trigger the same things that are going on. But the real magic of fasting doesn't happen until you've been fasting for 48 hours. The real magic, there's all these people that are suffering. And by the way, the hardest part of fasting is the first several hours, right? The first day, that's the hardest part. So you have all these people that are doing the hardest part on a regular basis and never getting to the magic. So I'm not against it. I'm against it where it's causing you suffering. So what I'm a big fan of, having a big meal and feeling good about that, and having maybe two, and having an empty stomach quite a lot, no problem. I just want to suggest that intermittent fasting is not a replacement for actual fasting, and that I think that actual long-term fasting is a very, very healthy thing to do from time to time. I'll just give you one example. We can talk about the stimulation of growth hormone and, all that other kind of stuff. But there's one simple example, and that is that the third fuel source of the human body is protein. And you break down old, broken, diseased, useless proteins when you fast. It's called protein autophagy. But that does not kick in until 40 some odd hours of fasting. It's an incredibly important part of cleansing out your body. Nature would have done it to us, or for us, however you want to put it, on a regular basis. And now we have such regular and consistent food supply that the average person has never fasted. And so that's what I'm saying is, look, if you want to do intermittent fasting and it's not causing you suffering, okay. And if you want the real benefit of proper fasting, then I really believe that minimally 2 to 3 days is required to kind of get the real action.
If I may clarify, I was kind of thinking about the kind of fasting that you go for like 16 hours. You really are just skipping breakfast and you're eating for 6 to 8 hour window. Is what you're saying still apply to that?
What I'm saying is that I don't have a challenge with that. I frequently do it myself, but I don't force it upon myself as a big exercise of willpower. So for example, I usually work out in the morning, and I just don't want to skip breakfast after I've had a big workout. I want to bring in some good proteins and aminos, so I'm not going to do that. But equally, I also do intentionally not eat too late at night. As a matter of fact, I would rather open the window wider at night than in the morning. For me, the perfect circumstance is that I don't eat for the 4 hours before I go to bed, and that I then don't eat first thing in the morning until I've done some exercise, and then I eat. But it doesn't have to be 16 hours for me. I'm not attached to that. And the reason that people are into this whole 16-hour version of it is that it's simulated fasting. It's supposed to kind of create the conditions of real fasting. And once you get that, the real magic of fasting doesn't happen until 48 hours anyway, and the miracles only happen in the third day. Then I would say to you, if you're liking it and you're enjoying it, go ahead and do it, but don't let yourself suffer doing it. Not worth it.
Okay.
Whereas I would say letting yourself suffer through a 3-day fast, that's worth it, because there's a miracle waiting.
I see. And it's okay to mix it with other seasons. If I were to,
there's no issue there. I think it's always wise not to eat before you go to bed, and I think it's always wise to get your body up and moving a little. I was doing some research about this and having some conversations about it, and here was a really interesting point. Is I actually went to an AI and I said, "Tell me what you think the historical perfect breakfast for humans was," and it started telling me, and I go, "Hold on, where did that food come from?" And then the AI said, "You're right. Early humans would not have had access to breakfast. They would have had to do some things to get it." Right? Because they didn't have fridge. They didn't have Uber Eats. They couldn't just go, "I'm awake now. I'll make myself some breakfast." They had to go walk. They had to go hunt or they had to go gather. And so in my model of the world, not eating for a few hours before you go to bed, super good for your human growth hormone and good for your digestion and what have you. And then getting up and going for a bit of a walk and moving your body before you start putting food in, that's ideal. I don't call it intermittent fasting. I call it natural nutritional rhythms.
Okay, thank you.
Back to you, Jonas.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Kiri.
Hello, Kiri.
Hi there. A couple of questions after seeing the last couple of videos and reading the ebook. I'm someone, it came across as a new thing of only having meat sort of every couple of weeks or a month, that we get enough protein from our other foods in spring, etc.
Okay.
Being someone who probably has meat at least twice a day, how would you advise to reduce that? What I've found in the past when I've had purely vegetarian meals is that I get super hungry. I don't find that they fill me up if I don't have a little bit of meat. I'm not saying I'm doing well over half my plate is mostly veg, but I just need a little bit of that protein from the meat. How would you advise that?
So you really would like to reduce your meat intake, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how is a sort
Why?
of a gradual, controlled way to do that?
Well,
Yes,
idea
why?
is. Oh,
Sorry,
Eric, are
Jonas,
you
I just
jumping
happen to
in?
be here
Yeah.
today. Can I ask why?
Because it's twofold. Because I realize, sorry, I have a dog who's got a bone and they're being noisy in the background.
That's okay.
I think I'm happy with what I'm eating. I think it's really suiting me. I am somebody who feels much. I find summer and fall much easier than spring. My sort of.
Okay, but I'm asking you a much clearer question. Why do you feel that it's important to reduce that?
Because if we're doing, I was just surprised, I think, by the videos when you said, oh, that meat consumption should be a lot less for the protein intake. And then I thought, gosh, okay, where I'm at, do I need to worry about this?
I'm going to be really clear. Delete that video. Don't watch it again. I said something out of context that I didn't mean it to be that way in the video. What I was really addressing is that I do think it's a good idea from time to time to take a complete break from food and therefore also to take a break from protein. And there's no problem with that. But yeah. I don't believe that you need to actively reduce meat, fish, eggs. For those of you who are not vegetarians and vegans, I expect, you guys can do what you want with that. But the meat, fish, eggs, poultry are the most satiating and nutritionally complete and least difficult to digest things you could possibly eat. And so if you're wanting to reduce them because of something I said, then delete that I said it, do not reduce it, eat it, well, choose the best source you can, choose regenerative farming wherever possible, choose ethical production as best possible. But everything I just said is true of vegetables too. So, but there's no need for you to reduce your protein intake in my opinion.
Okay, that's really helpful. The other thing I totally understood about ratios. I'm now in category 1, and I would like to probably be in summer and fall most of the time. But really, listening to the videos, it seemed to be much more an emphasis on summer than it was fall, and that's where I'm starting to get just a little bit muddled of trying to. I'm quite happy to do like a 6-to-1 ratio, but I think I'd be a mixture of summer and fall in that. Okay. But I didn't get much guidance.
Summer and fall are basically the same season. Like as I say, they're basically the same season. It's just a matter of how much carbs you're eating. Summer, you're eating a little less. In fall, you're gorging out. And so to be really clear, summer and fall are the fattening seasons. Those seasons are designed to trigger your body to store energy and water. to prepare you for the coming winter. So they're not a great season to live in, especially for people who are prone to weight gain. Like I can tell you, when I spend a lot of time in summer, I put on fat. I just do. It's like I do it much more slowly now than I did say 5 years ago because I've got more muscle density than I had to before. But I just do. There are other people who have super fast metabolism. They can do that and they don't really fatten up. It's not a big deal. But most of us aren't in that situation. So, you know, you can use summer as kind of a base place to live, but I think it is very important to have, spring in your life, and it's very important to have occasional winters in your life. My feeling is that, you know, our ancestors would not have had access to heavy carbohydrates for a majority of the year. Therefore, it's not that good an idea for us to be doing that either.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point. I was just trying to navigate my way of thinking clearly of the differences. I did because of being perimenopausal, I was much better in mild spring than I was in deep spring. I was pleasantly surprised how much sort of weight was released during the summer and fall. I lost just as much then as I did in spring. I don't want to lose any more now. I feel I'm the right size. I feel really healthy. And it's just a case of just trying to navigate that going forward.
The ultimate optimizations at this point are strength training to build muscle density, because as we get older, we start to lose density. So it's really important to go and do like good resistance training and get muscle density, and that'll speed up your metabolism, which will make it easier for your body to spend time in summer without putting on weight.
It's on my radar tomorrow morning. Phone up and do a strength. I know exactly for strength training. I kept telling myself nutrition first, energy's calm. Now that nearly finished, I'll start.
And then in terms of the seasons, the only thing I'm going to say to you is that your instincts will never make you choose spring.
True. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your instincts will always try to draw you to carbs because that's a survival food, right? It's like, oh my God, I better eat this because winter's coming. I got to eat this because and so the cravings. So what that means is that what we have to do is we have to use consciousness. Another word for consciousness is short bursts of willpower, right? We have to use consciousness to make sure we visit spring and winter from time to time, because Mother Nature used to do that to us, or for us, as the case might be. Mother Nature used to take care of that. And now Mother Nature doesn't. And so we're going to have to use our consciousness to do that. So, you know, what I recommend to everybody here is that you never leave spring without knowing when it's going to start again. Because if you wait until you're in summer or fall, you will never vote for spring until you're in enough pain to push you back there. That is to say, you've put on a bunch of weight, or you've got inflammation, or you're not sleeping well. And then and then pain will be the trigger. And the problem is that it takes a long time to create that pain. What's much better is to say, I've decided I'm going to go into summer now, and I'm going to be there for a month, but then I'm going to come out and make a decision and a commitment, and I'm putting it in the calendar. And because I can't trust Mother Nature to do that anymore, I'm going to use willpower to make a decision. And then you just watch your leading indicators, watch your body fat percentage, energy, and then choose your seasons accordingly.
Okay, one quick last question for internal. When I'm in spring, I found that very difficult sort of for internals. That it just irritated both bowels and bladder. All right.
Then the next time you go into spring, I recommend that you try Hunter Spring. Now we don't talk about Hunter Spring. I'm going to describe Hunter Spring. So over the next, many of you will want to come back and do WildFit again one day. You'll want to level up and check it out. But we also have these back to spring programs where people can just do a condensed period of spring, because since Mother Nature isn't taking care of it, we do it for you. So we've got these spring classes you can join. But that spring is a little more refined than the spring that you guys just went through. There's 3 types of spring. The same spring that you just experienced. There's gatherer spring, and that's to support the vegans and vegetarians, or people who just want to do a plant-based, say protein detox or whatever. And then there's Hunter Spring, which is a largely meat, fish, eggs focus with no plants. most of the digestive difficulties that you will face as a human being will come from plants, particularly grains, but also any other seeds and frankly, vegetables. All organic matter is trying not to be eaten. Animals try not to be eaten with their speeds and strength. Once you've harvesting the meat is not fighting anymore. So it's the easiest thing in the world to digest. Funny thing you'll often see in the press out there in sort of vegan papers and vegan posts and what have you is that vegans poop a lot more. And they say that's that's supposed to be some indication of their health. What's really crazy is when you go on Hunter Spring, you barely poop at all. I would ask you, which do you think is better? The reason you're barely pooping at all is that 99% of what you're eating is fully utilizable.
Yeah.
When you eat broccoli, you can only use about 15% of it. The rest of it needs to be pooped out because it's cellulose and unusable. Now, that's not to say that there isn't a purpose behind that. But I suggest that the next time you do spring, you might want to try Hunter Spring. You'll find it much, and certainly anybody who's been dealing with IBS, inflammation, Crohn's disease, any of those digestive challenges, Hunter Spring is a fabulous, in a sense, elimination.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last bit.
I was saying it's a fabulous, like vacation for your digestive system. I highly recommend it.
Okay, thank you. That's super helpful. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Eric.
All right,
thanks,
let's
Kiri.
go to Zara.
Hello, Zara.
Hi, how are you?
doing
I've been having a colitis last weeks. So I've been off the program and couldn't be in the calls and seeing the videos. I still have some of it, and it's because a bad decision I took is not up because of the program, because my own circumstance. But now I'm guessing how I can deal with it. Like, what can I eat? Why can I not eat? Physicians have given me some foods that I can eat, but as my intestines are kind of rumbling, I don't know really what to do. Can I eat rice? Because he tells me eat rice and oats, and I said I don't think that's good for me now. But I don't know if you can tell me something that what's the best way to deal with this, staying in this program. I mean, not being in summer, but also being healthy.
Okay. So thanks for a question. Actually, well, if the physician or medical practitioner telling something to adapt, you also, because this is not a medical program, and I cannot suggest you otherwise. Yeah, but the main goal is actually it's really listen to your body and what's how you feel about that, and what the best you can do, and actually, well, when it's going in the wild fit terms, is to make sure that you have nutritious, dense foods the majority of the time, and that consists also the high quality meats, high quality vegetables, and fruits if it's not in a spring, and berries, and then maybe good quality nuts, and then eggs, and so on, poultry and seafood, for example. So the thing is that when you are nourishing your body with the condensed food, nutritionally dense food, that's a really good option. All these rice and oats and so on, they are kind of high in energy. They give you carbohydrates and quite big amount of calories. Actually, it's easy to consume quite a lot of them, but they do not have enough nutrition value in that case. So if you, for example, in your later on in your freedom life, let's say, from time to time, occasionally we'll have some rice, we'll have some oats and so on. If you also considering the good quality of them, and maybe wild rice with the whole shell, not like stripped away and left only this empty calories. That's fine, because it's always getting enough nutrition. But if you start to replace those foods and get only the pure energy without any nutrition value, well, your body starts to crave more and more. And what is happening actually in this thing, that you're increasing your calorie intake or just energy, but do not have any nutrition, so your body's craving more and more. And that causes, if you have a lot of energy in, and then if you're not prepared to run a marathon or go like a really big physical activity, your body starts, all right, I will fill up my blood sugar in the what I need, also glycogen levels. Then let's do it right here on the just for the winter, for the black days, let's say. So first, really need to make sure about that. So if it's, for example, if spring it's good season to live in. But if you, for example, use a little milder version, and that should be everything fine. The main thing here is to listen to your body and adapt how you feel about that. And yeah, and if it's go.
Okay, thank you. And according, talking about spring, it would be well if I be in a month of summer and in a month of spring, that would be okay?
It depends, yeah, what you would like to achieve, I strongly to suggest you to experiment, because your journey just started. So just stick to the plan. Let's say, well, it's better to sometimes to shift those seasons a little bit faster and quicker in the beginning, and then to adapt. For example, if you still would like to release some weight, yeah, so then spring is the best season because it uses your body fats. If you want to maintain this level and you want to be there, that summer, it's also a good thing. And as Eric told, summer and fall is like really just a question of how much. If you eat one fruit per day, that's pretty much summer, or berries. If you eat more, the same food, but more quantities, become fall. So it depends on what you would like to do next. And I also tell you that sometimes, if I know that, a lot of people are coming here for the health benefit, for energy benefits, but some of them would like to also release some weight and still I want more and keeping as much as possible the faster. To be on the, let's say release 10, 15 pounds, for example, and to be in that level for a little bit is also a really good idea, because your body is, when it's adapting. It's adapting to one amount of weight, and then if you reduce it, it's looking back. Always was there. I won't come back. But if you stay here for a while, for the month, for example, it starts, okay, that's my new line. And now if you, for example, go into fall and start to build up, that building up is not getting so easily, because your body is like, I'm on this level. If I build it up, just completely gone down. It's actually from my own experience. I lost, when I started WildFit 4 years ago, I lost 17 kilos. Now I'm like something minus 20 kilograms, not pounds. And it's kind of a bit difficult for me to build up again. For example, I go into fall, I raised up like 2 kilos more and nothing more. And just for the couple of days, actually in spring, coming back, because my body is adapting to the new level. I also would like you to keep paying attention on that level.
Okay, if I understand, I must be like in summer or fall for some months, so my weight gets stable.
What is your goal right now? What you would like to do next?
20 kilos more.
20 kilo more. So I suggest you to continue with the spring for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
In case I get stuck, then fast.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And also to not forget this seasonality. For example, if you go like what we did here in the challenge, maximum up to 6 weeks for we've been in spring. And so that's a good amount, for example, to get for another, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks, and then again you can rotate, for example, to summer or fall a little bit, and then going back again, and looking how your body going. Good.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we have Matilda next.
Hello, Matilda. How can I help you?
Hi there.
Any wins?
Yes, I had wins with losing weight and having much better sleep.
Okay.
And waking up. I'm waking up more easily in the morning. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. But I have a problem with because I was traveling in Africa, and during our week 10,
Yeah.
I had to do some cheating because we were in a lodge where there was no food options whatsoever to, well, I had to start cheating there when I was there.
Cheating.
Yes. But up until week 10, I've been doing everything perfect. I mean, I was perfectly fine with everything. But then I was cheating. I need to have some, in the breakfast, there were pancakes and yogurts and not so much to choose from. So I started cheat there. And then I realized I thought I buried my sugar monster way beyond the soil, but obviously it was fake because it jumped up immediately. And now I also feel that I'm like more into binge eating than I ever been before, because I think it's so hard this sugar monster has really started kicking wide awake. I have even been eating ice creams today, and I'm not a fan of ice creams before, so I don't know what is happening. And do you have any ideas of how I can tackle this sugar monster and how to trust myself that it's not all in, I haven't done it all in vain and everything? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand what is happening. And sugar monster, we always, it's sometimes it's hiding. And we always think, yes, it's I'm done. And what you notice, it's like gone. I locked it somewhere and throw the key. Yeah, it's dead. It's but when something is happening, and what's in your there is no options. It's like and your food devil and sugar monster, they just get up from the dead and said, yeah, that's our option. That's our chance to go in full.
Yeah.
So, and what they did, and in that case, you made your exception. That is a rule, but also there is a workaround on that in these particular things. And what is happening, actually, usually then when you just open the door just a little bit and just put your leg in, and that's no, do not want to go back. So what I also heard from you that you also release some weight and also sleeping better. So there is still a lot of benefits here. What is happening here? Yes, that's sometimes. What I wanted to say that if you change this relationship with food, and when the sugar and all the sweets are out, you are not craving for them anymore.
No, exactly.
That's good, and that can happen also once again. But I believe also in the week 6, when the first time was taking all the sweetness, that's kind of also would be could some sort of resistance on your sugar monster. She's like, what is happening right here?
It was okay. For me, it was okay. It was I was so much into the program and did everything, trying to follow every rule. So I think it was okay. But yeah.
All right. What I also told you that, like in the beginning, your freedom is really young. It's fresh. It's fragile still.
Yeah.
And all these habits, all these old patterns, they are the part of you for years. And now they just, faded away, so they are here. So really pay attention to the food timeline, what you are referring, like, why am I doing this? How can I learn from this right now, right in this moment? What is happening? Do I want to change this emotion? Why I cannot resist? What is happening here? Just couple seconds before that ice cream. What is that? Because sugar monster, right, like going on autopilot. Just do not ask any questions. Just go straight away. But just start to pay attention, because what your mind is wanting, body and mind is always a team. They want the good for each other. They always do. And because they cannot live without each other. And when you start to pay attention, why am I doing this? Is it good for me? Is it, emotionally, maybe from the fraction of time you felt better, but after that, you're just worrying what's happening, not so good. So in the long term, it's not a good decision. And your food angel will start to talk, and it will be easier and easier. And then these sugars went away. They also will be a different spectrum. I will say different cravings. But in the end, just make peace with that. And also, if you have that craving, the sugar craving, it's really strong. It's back in the nature. It was really rare to get some sort of food. So this sweetness. So it's strong. What you need to do is to to value it, to respect it, because that feeling is strong. But the environment right now is completely different. So, you know, you need to live mindfully around that.
Yes. Okay. I'll
All right,
try.
Matilda.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, Janice, you're up next.
Oh, hi.
Hello, Janice.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing good. And you?
Yeah, doing great. Just kind of wanted some clarification as to how to just kind of continue my journey with WildFit.
Right.
I have lost some pounds. I think I've lost about 5 to 6 pounds. And I probably wanted to lose a little bit more just to kind of have that be able to have that fluctuation. This is probably how much I would like to weigh at my most, and then when I hit it, I'd like to go into spring and lose the pounds and have that fluctuation. I'm wondering, like my body does feel better when I'm in fall. I tend to, because I went into WildFit with a lot of digestion problems, and I find that just having the huge amount of fruit was really what helped me the most in the beginning. But then again, I also have the goal to still lose maybe about 5 more pounds, you know, so I can have that fluctuation. So, you know, from what I'm hearing so far, it sounds as if, you know, I'm not too sure what to do because fall's more for weight gain and you know, so is there, I noticed that you guys had posted the ratios on the ebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it didn't include autumn. It didn't include fall in the ratios. So can you give me like an example of a good ratio to use on a weekly or monthly or a whatever basis for this kind of goal?
Yeah, sure. Well, in general, as we talked in the summer and fall is a really similar season. This is just big. It's just that's how much quantity of the fruits are you eating. So, for example, week 4 and 5 in the beginning of the challenge, when we start to, you know, when we increase the fruit intake in the morning, that was like a fall because there's a lot of fruits in the morning. Some of them we are eating this just till noon, so like really a lot. And then that's the purpose of also to change the junk sugars with the much better. So fruit actually is the good source of sugar with all these, you know, nutrient dense and fiber and so on. So it's complete thing. It's just not increasing your blood levels so fast as some sort of other foods do. But the ratios is a little bit is included. But in general, for example, if you still would like to release some weight, not losing, but just releasing, just to keep it off and just taken out. So just for example, do a week or a couple of weeks or 10 days, for example, of spring, and then transition to the fall or summer, between fall, something like have a little bit more fruit, more vegetables, like root vegetables and so on, just increase more sweetness a little bit in your variety in your, like, for a couple days, and then going again. What is also needed is to track what is happening. So from the psychological perspective, as Eric told, that sometimes, you know, the spring is not our choice. It's not like, you know, we do it like we choose. It's environment is this, that is for us, it's difficult to go in. So sometimes if you do it too small gaps, let's say too frequently, it's kind of difficult for you to jump in. So the longer version is because in this challenge, when you go into spring, your body's just got into that mode, and it's good for you, and you start to get it. Even, for example, in summer, in a mild summer, when you have some berries and then fruits and so on, you have maybe a little bit more exercise, more using your energy, you're still able to release some weight. So the idea is to track what is happening with your body, and if you are achieving that. So simple terms, for example, just for the beginning to try, let's say 10 days of spring, 2 days of summer/fall, and then again 10 days. So that would be, for example, starting point. If you see for how it goes, adapt to that.
Okay, great. And I noticed that you guys often explained how like there's reasons why you could see a change and no changes in weight changes in measurement. But for me, it's the
Yeah.
other way around. I've had a change in weight, but no changes in the measurements. So
Mhm.
is there explanation as to, is it just too little weight to actually notice the change in measurements, or what's the explanation, if you guys have any, for that?
Yeah, you mentioned about something like 3-4 pounds, yeah?
I've released maybe about 5 pounds. Yeah.
5
5,
pounds,
6
yeah.
pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sometimes but when you look at that mirror, do you see completely the same, or just something is a little bit better? What do you think?
I honestly would have to really take a picture again, or like compare, like I think.
Yeah, you would like to need to do that, because sometimes when you, for example, measure it with it's also could be a bit different, measuring every time, so that because the difference is not very big, but it could be, and it's if it's let's say shrinking a little bit with everywhere, so it's maybe a few millimeters here, a few here, and but from the clothes which you are wearing, from the picture and comparing two pictures, you can start to see the difference. Because also sometimes, if you see yourself every day, and that incremental changes that not can be seen. So I'm really encouraging you to do a after picture and see how it looks. You might be surprised.
Okay, great. Yeah, but I'm really happy and amazed by the results, and just what I've been
Awesome.
able to reap from the other benefits, the non-scale benefits.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Great to hear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Gabriella, you're next.
Hello, Gabriella. I'm not hearing you right now. I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you right now. No. Okay. I know now you're unmuted, but I'm still not hearing you. Maybe wrong microphone. I don't know.
Okay, we'll come back to you, okay?
Yeah, we'll try to do it.
If you're there, Frank, we can go to Frank.
Can you
Hello,
hear me?
Frank. Yeah, I do.
I just want to say I'm over the moon with this program. I'm 64 years old, and I'm a coach, and I'm also a nutritionist, and also playing a band. And I joined the program because even though I studied nutrition for sports, I was really like a sugar addict. And I found myself in the last, just before this, starting the program, I started, waking up at night and going to the fridge to have my fruit salad with maple syrup. And so that was, I never done that before in my whole entire life. So, upon, joining the program, I started, just following, strictly, the rules and everything. And I was already shedding some weight, which was not my initial goal. My initial goal is to get healthy again. But as a byprocess, I lost lots of weight. I lost 10% of my initial weight, which wasn't much. Now I'm 5'7" and 136 pounds. And then I was sick and I got sore throat, and I decided to fast for 3 days. I was in bed, I fasted, and in those first 2 days, I was just staying in bed, but the cold went away in 3 days. And also, on top of that, I did a flushing of my guts and everything, so I cleansed my system. And now it's been a couple of weeks since I, started eating, normally, like spring again. And now I'm just little by little trying to add, like carrots or beetroots, or, the other day I added a few raspberries in my alka-geyser. And so I just want to monitor how my health, my energy, my sleep, also the way I go to the toilet, how everything changes and works. And I've also started intensifying my trainings, a lot of endurance, a lot of yoga, and it seems like everything is working perfectly. I mean, the energy level is amazing. People at the gym tell me, I've really changed. My skin tone has gotten much younger. My metabolic age is 48, and so it's 15 years younger than my. my physical age. So I'm just over the moon, and it's for me, it's all wins, all victories. And my experience is now what I really want to do in order to stick with this program and be able to continue and to be sustainable in this is play with other nutrients and see how they react. How do I react on it, and maybe also play with summers and spring and winters or whatever it is. So just to share for me that this program has been amazing so far for me. So thank you all for helping me out, and also thank you to all you guys also sharing ideas and thoughts. And one question only I have, I was looking at milk and things like that, and of course I try to avoid milk because of the the lactose. But I was checking on a double. I live in Switzerland. There's double creams. Real thick, heavy, 100% fat cream, and apparently there is no lactose, and it's mostly fat. So I don't know. I would like to hear your advice on adding cream. As a change of adding olive oil all the time. Just change the flavors and things. So that would be my only question.
All right. Thanks a lot, Frank, for such a big list of wins. Amazing, amazing. And I'm really glad that you took the course like strictly to the cause, because in this case you can experience it fully. Because with your nutritional background, I believe you will like also question, looking at it. Yeah, so that's amazing. And 48 biological year, 50 and it's younger. Come on, that's awesome. So I'm really glad about your wins. Regarding to your question about the rationality, that's great. Experience, experiment, look how it goes, and get the wisdom from that, because journey is just the beginning. You got to like a toolbox, what to do, and now just experiment for that little by little and see what's happening good. What about with all the dairy products? Well, at least it's just not necessary for our bodies. And right now, what you are experiencing really big health benefits without getting any dairy in. So, well, for example, ghee, butter, and so on, but it's only the fat. That's a bit, let's say, easier for us to digest and so on. But it's actually just more or less your choice. But this simply dairy is just not necessary for you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And there's another win is that I have had a lot of joint pain, and all the the pain is gone. It's amazing. No
Awesome.
more.
Frank,
Awesome.
Frank, I just want to add a little bit to that. We talk about lactose in milk, and then a lot of times people point out, like, for example, I've spent a fair bit of time in Finland, and if you go into a restaurant in Finland, you'll notice that they basically have removed the lactose from all of their dairy products there. They just have because the truth is they're all lactose intolerant. But the problem is that lactose is only one of the problems, and it's only the most immediate problem. So, it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm just going to take away the car alarm. I'm just going to take off the car alarm and leave the car undefended is kind of what taking lactose is all, out. There are other problems with dairy. I would suggest to you, for example, the reduction in inflammation that you're experiencing right now probably has a lot to do with the fact that you don't have, dairy products in a big way. So I'm not a fan of adding cream and yogurt and that kind of stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
Milk. I've never been a big fan of milk. It's just only butter and cream. That's it.
Yeah, well, and I will say that when it comes to fat, I would rather have butter than margarine. I would rather have butter than seed oils and vegetable oils and that kind of stuff as that goes. But and of course, even better than that would be ghee, because it's really just down to the core healthy fats that are in it, rather than all the additional dairy additives. So I'm not a big fan of dairy products, but at the end of the day, it really does come down to some experimentation for yourself. So if you want to start adding double cream to what you're doing, and you start noticing some stiffness and pain, you're like, maybe let's not do that. Generally speaking, I would fall on a very core principle of WildFit, and that is that any dietary idea that violates evolutionary biology must be considered suspect. Dairy products are a brand new feature of human consumption, and we're not good at it as a species. So it doesn't mean you can't, it just means you don't need to, and if you don't need to, probably you shouldn't.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, we're gonna try Gabriella again and see if this works.
All right.
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we do.
That's so
All good.
awesome. Thank you.
Right.
All right. So number one, very good wins. One of my biggest one was my cholesterol went down. So my biggest fear and why I joined this program was twofold. Number one, from my mom's side, majority passed away from strokes. And later on, I found out that my mother had arteriosclerosis. So of course, for me, the level of cholesterol, even though I know it's a combination between stress and food, kind of always worried me. So my total cholesterol went down from 7.7 to like 6.5. So I definitely want to go lower. The bad cholesterol also went down. So really, I think when I got that message, for me, it was such a big happy moment, because I did it without any kind of medication, which I always try not to go towards the medication side. So like as holistic as possible. A lot of people are telling me that I can see that I lost weight. I'm looking on the weight scale and it's kind of between around 4 to 5 kilos. Okay. I still have about, I would say, 10 kilos to go. And that's where my question would come through just now. Another big win, my ability to recover from a flu without taking any kind of medication. So the level of immune system that I built out. And for the first time that I see it is my nails that always break and they're very fragile. They're strong. That I haven't had these nails in my entire life since a child. So that's amazing. Things that I still want to do, it is I still have on one side of the eye like bags in the morning, and that it is something that kind of because I also studied Ayurveda, I know this, it is somewhere an inflammation, something is still not right in my body. So that I would like to see gone. And of course, I would like to bring down the cholesterol more. And I would like to see another, I don't know about weight. I would like to see centimeters, because I know as the muscles are developing my weight, what I want to bring it, like, let's say 50 kilos or 55 kilos, it's irrelevant because my body will look different. So I can't really think from that perspective. So it's more, I have a dress in mind and I'm going like, that's my weight.
Awesome.
So, but I'm also in my menopause. So I started my menopause like 3 years ago. About 4 months ago, the doctor suggested to start taking some hormone therapy, again holistic, from herbal type, not chemical or anything. But still, I'm kind of not sure if I should take them, but also I'm not sure how to go forward in losing the rest of the weight. Understood. Especially that now, so I come from South Africa, but I live now in Switzerland, and it's like getting cold. And I see more and more, I have this need of eating like pumpkin and butternut and, you know, all this sweet vegetables kind of thing.
Yeah. So in the beginning, thank you for all the shares and for the amazing wins with the cholesterol. That's awesome, and with the releasing some weight already. So if it will be like a really two-word message for you, so keep going what you're doing right now, because the spring gave you those benefits, and all this program, it's feeling better. So you just need to do it a bit longer. All these decisions which you made right now, it will get you there. So that's really good way to consider as what you wanted to do right now. Also to look forward maybe a little more on the how you look and what is centimeters. The idea is not the kilograms and so on. Just to feel good, just the weight or the looks where you feel good, where you feel energized and so on. So I suggest you also to go a bit more also again with the spring. Maybe it's a little bit wilder version from jumping on from time to time. Even if you are in the menopause, sometimes you need to know for this hormonal balance, you need maybe just a small amount of these middle vegetables just for the milder version. So you're during the night, for example, your hormonal system can adapt and balance out. So. But in general, I know that's outside right now winter, and then days are getting darker and then colder, and you crave for something, warmer foods, maybe more dense foods. What is happening actually that winter, was back then, it's not so harsh, we not live in the caves. We live in the warm apartments. We're able to heat, so it's kind of, if we go in the car, we heat it up. So it's kind of comfort winter. We have clothes and so on. So you can easily adapt to that. Sometimes it's really nice to get some sort of spicier foods a little bit, maybe more a little bit warmer food just to warm you up. And this is happening. And also one thing which is we shared a lot as a bit with the inflammation. Sometimes it's happening. As also Eric told a little bit with the various variations of spring in the Back to Spring program, and sometimes even if this inflammation can come from the plants. For example, if you have like Alka-Geyser, always the same recipe, a lot of greens, and they are not rotating enough, that could be that even there is some sort of nutrients and there's a little bit of anti-nutrients in there. There's like defense mechanisms on them, and if we have like in a moderate amounts, our body is able to digest and take them out without any problems. But when you have them a lot and all the same, it's like taking out, building up, and it might start some sort of build up, which our body cannot do them properly in like. So sometimes to rotate. And rotating, there is a post also in the Facebook group, and if you are with the coach, a coach will also share to change the families, because there's a different families, they have different nutrition and anti-nutrition value. So if you change them, your body able to cope with that and to take those inflammation out. Sometimes, as a for example, even as a hunter spring, there is for time to time there's a meat based. So the small let's say the small time out from plants entirely can help our body to do, because what is happening, all these vitamins and minerals, they don't build up during the one day and they will not replenish during the one day. So vitamins they are from the few days or weeks which you are build it up. So that would be the idea. And the short answer, just keep going as you're going. Do spring. So it's also releasing a little bit more, and look what progress you are getting and all cholesterol, and amazing.
Awesome, thank you. One more question. In my Alka-Geyser, I am usually adding also collagen from natural bio kind of sources, and also natural magnesium and calcium. Can I carry on with that, or do you suggest that maybe I should also like switch between these and give like breaks? So the reason for the collagen and magnesium and calcium, of course, it is during the menopause, we're losing bone density, and just to help with that.
Yeah. So I just encourage you to try to switch to that, or maybe have them separately, for example, and to do it if there has any change in your
okay,
how you feel. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Glad that we are hearing from you.
And definitely thanks to Eric for this program. For me, really awesome. No words.
Great. Yeah, we are about the time, so I think so. Maybe Eric would like to have a wrap up, or I can do that. We also have.
I'm
Yeah.
having her. Hey, well done, everybody. Really great content and great calls today. Of course, we're in week 13, and a big part of what week 13 is all about is integrating all the things that you've taken and that you've discovered and you've learned. You know, our first goal, really, truly, in delivering WildFit to you around the world, now over 100,000 people in over 100 countries around the world, is to have a permanent impact on your psychology around food, to get you thinking about food differently, to get you thinking about your relationship with food differently. What I want you to remember, though, is that the food industry and their lobbyists and their marketers and their government people and what have you they're just like the drug dealers down the street that are just going to keep trying to get you to come back. And so there's going to be a tug of war going on. And I think we've empowered you really well to play that tug of war. And one of the things I want you to pay attention to in this week 13 experience, as you're kind of going through this final week of the official program, is look around at the manipulative advertising, look around at the manipulative regulations. Like, how about, here's one funny, quirky thing for you. What is quite literally the worst diet in the world? The hospital diet. There is literally no worse food than what you would get in a hospital. If you can't see the irony of that, then I can't help you. You know, it is insane that the place we go for healing is the place where they are messing us around. And if they own that, then imagine how hard the battle is going to be for us. So what we've done here is empowered you, you know, to really make better decisions and so on. As you go through this week, really pay attention to yourself and come armed to the final call with your victories, with your questions and all that kind of stuff. And equally, you know, for those of you who are, you know, wanting to learn more about the sort of ongoing ways to keep in touch with WildFit community, you know each other, first of all. I can tell you right now, the old African proverb that if you want to go quickly, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. Well, here, you've met a bunch of people. I suggest you connect with them and create little groups and what have you. There's also Facebook groups for WildFit fans online. You can go find that. All of that's available. And then, of course, we have our own Living WildFit membership. Keep an eye out for your email for the details about that, because it means that the calls don't have to stop. It means that you can continue to have community calls, education calls that really support you in maintaining your WildFit lifestyle. And I know many of you have been asking us about about the process of becoming a WildFit coach and that sort of stuff. We'll share a little more information with you about that on the final call on Friday. But I can tell you that quite aside from it being a super cool opportunity to go out and create an independent career where you get to help people, there's another side of it, and that is that it is very difficult to teach something and not to live it. And so one of the very best ways to maintain your health is by being a coach and getting out there and supporting people. So we'll definitely, I don't know if somebody from the team can share the link to that page already, but I know we'll share some information with you guys about that on Friday. For now, continue to go through this week. Keep your observations, you know, watch what's happening in your psychology, and, you know, look for evidence of the progress that you've made, but equally keep your eye out for evidence of the food industry trying to manipulate you back. And then one last thing I want you to really watch this week and in your life going forward is the idea of course corrections. We, WildFit, we're not part of the diet industry. We're about ending the diet industry. This is about changing your way of life, not putting you on a diet. And one of the things they say in the diet world is, oh, you're off the wagon. Oh, you've tripped. Oh, you've slipped. Oh, you've cheated, or whatever the case might be, this whole diet language. And what I want to suggest to you is something very, very different. And that is this, that it is entirely possible that you will, for one reason or another, conduct experiments in your relationship with food. You might find yourself on a vacation and, you know, as somebody described earlier today, and there just wasn't a lot of options. In that case, you do the best that you can, but you activate your consciousness to pay attention to what's going on. And you pay very close attention to cascading relationships where you go, oh, wow, I was making an exception for one day and it slid into the second day and the third day. It's not a matter of whether you're perfect. It's a matter of how quickly you correct the course, how quickly you get back on track. That really is the issue. So with that, this is a great week of consciousness and observation. It's also a great week of celebration. By the way, I want to show you guys something. What are the odds of you all being here? And by the way, I know many of you are watching and recording, but do you guys understand that the average person sticks with a diet for 6 days? Well, bloody done. Congratulations. And we'll see you guys on Friday.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great call,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody. So nice to be with everyone. Thanks,
Bye.
Sabrina.
To Matt.
Thank
you.
Bye.
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 Bye.